Hey everybody, it's time to rank the movies of 1991 this time. The ones that I've seen and also that I'm pretty familiar with still. I'm going to try to rank as many as I can that I'm not familiar with. But for the most part, this is about a fresh-brained kind of discussion. Me recollecting my memories of watching the movie, all that I know about it, things like that. I'm not going to be Googling anything or searching anything. It's just kind of off-the-cuff, nothing scripted kind of deal, which works a lot better when you remember the movie. But I'm going to try to not let any insecurities get in the way of me reviewing as many movies from the year 1991 as I possibly can. So we're going to be starting off with, oh, by the way, this is me ranking the movies of 1991, best ever of that year, according to me. We have 4 categories that we're going to be ranking with. One of them is classic, and then we have what a movie, then we have guilty pleasure, and then we have memories are better. So basically classic means just that. It's classic. Memories are better means, or what a movie means, oh, what a movie. That's great. These are pretty self-explanatory. And then you have guilty pleasure, which is, you know what a guilty pleasure is. I don't know if I 100% agree with the term, but you know what it means, and that's what it means, and that's where they belong. And then you have the number 4 spot, which is memories are better. It doesn't mean that the movie's bad. It just means that I remember the movie being better when I was younger, when I first saw it. The nostalgia has dried and gone, and that's just where we lie now with the movie. So, and by we I mean this guy, and whoever else is with me, from time to time. So we have the first movie on the docket, which is the movie that's playing in back of me right now. It's a little movie called Nothing But Trouble, directed by Dan Aykroyd, sort of a passion project. He was not originally intended to direct the movie, but he took on the job when this or that fell through, and he was encouraged to direct it. I think his buddy Chevy Chase even encouraged him, even though he's a pretty difficult guy to work with. He's been known to be. So he was reported to be hard on Dan Aykroyd on the set, but it is unknown whether that was just harmless ribbing by a couple of buddies, a couple of friends, and other people were just appalled, but they were cool with it. I mean, I don't know, and I'm not going to judge any of that deal. I'm not going to judge the way that people work, as long as they're not hurting somebody else. And Dan Aykroyd never came out and said his feelings were hurt or that he was upset. They were still friends after the making of the movie. They're still friends now. So I don't really know. I can't really speak too much on that. But anyway, he decided to direct the movie. It's one of his written works, so it is insane, and it is the original draft was much longer than what wound up on the screen. The same goes for Ghostbusters and anything else that he wrote. He's kind of a brilliant, wild, imaginative mind in that way. Misunderstood. The medium of film has never been able to contain his. I'm sure some people would call it genius. Some people would call it insanity. Some people would call it nonsense. But that little box, the box in back of me, or in the on the big screen when you go to the theater, it needs to contain an idea within a running time and within the frame. And sometimes the concept is too large and might be better suited for a book or an art project of some kind, something abstract and tangible. But this movie is. He's also was reported that he let people. He wasn't afraid to let people riff on this movie and bring their ideas and get creative, which is great, especially for somebody who is as unique of a writer as he is. So he directed the film. The film is inspired by an incident he had in a small town when he was taken to a judge's quarters after doing something. I don't think it was a stop sign. I think he wrote that in, but he did something, and he was taken to the judge's house, or the the courtroom, the courthouse, and it was similar to the movie, but the movie is exaggerated and fantastical, and it's just like extreme. And then that encounter ended in handshakes and goodbyes, and everything was warm and fuzzy. This movie is another story. They get sent down the conveyor belt and awaiting judgment. Will they be thrown into the bone stripper or not? And the bone stripper is just as it sounds. It's a roller coaster ride that ends in your bones being stripped. If you are found guilty of whatever crime the judge deems you guilty of, drugs, violence, being a banker, whatever it may be. So the original inspiration was the encounter he had in the small town, and mixed with the success and the impact of a little film called The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which back in the day, I know it lost steam a bit after its release. But when it first came out, it was on everybody's topic of conversation. Everybody in the industry. It was a dinner table, well, maybe not dinner table. Well, maybe dinner table conversation. But water cooler, whatever have you. Artistic minds, the greatest minds, the lowest minds. Everybody was talking about this movie. Nothing like this had been done before. It kind of did change horror and the landscape of cinema. After its release, it was in the early to mid 70s when it came out. So he was affected by it as well. So he set out to do a funny version of it, even though Tobe Hooper is on record as saying that Texas Chainsaw Massacre he intended it to be a comedy, a satire, if you will. He wanted it to be horrific. He wanted it to be extreme, but he also wanted it to be funny. The humor was lost on the audience, which made him self-conscious. So he went, crazy in the sequel, and because he was working for Cannon, he was able to do that because all of their movies are nuts, and he was just making all-out comedy, even though they were not that happy about him making a comedy because they had signed on for Texas Chainsaw Massacre, thinking, "Oh, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, that's a scary thing, that's a horrific thing, and this and that, and here are all these jokes and what's going on." So yeah, Nothing But Trouble, I've always considered it to be kind of an offshoot Texas Chainsaw Massacre sequel. I think it fits in nicely with the franchise, and whenever I watch it like a Texas Chainsaw Massacre film, and it helps my enjoyment of the movie. There is an original gore cut that is not in existence anymore, that test audiences were shown, and of course the MPAA had them trim out all the blood, and they had to reshoot some stuff, and that is really a shame, because if they had left that in, it would have fit even better. It would have fit better into the Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise. But this movie is funny. It's weird, and there's nothing like it. And anyone who says that anything like that, anything this unique and silly and of its own, where you could really just feel the making of the movie as you watch it, is bad, like that's what makes a bad work of art, then they don't understand art. And I don't enjoy watching things that are fit into a box like that. It's like, it has to be this, it has to be that, don't be too strange, don't say the wrong thing, don't show the wrong thing now, you want to be kicked out of the club, do you? I don't like shit like that, because that's not interesting to me, and I don't think that's what art is for. Art is for making risk, it's for taking risks, it's for going too far, it's for eccentricities and brilliant, nonsensical, overblown ideas and passion projects and all of that. And there's a lot of artistry on display here. A lot of the sets that they built are gorgeous. The cast is great. Some of the bit players are even better than like Ronalda and her brother, played by Taylor Negron, I think his name is. He was in The Last Boy Scout and a couple other movies. They're great. They really do bring the movie to life. John Candy, in and out of drag, the dual roles he plays. The one is basically mute, the female, and then the male, the gun-toting armed man of the law, who winds up becoming a bodyguard at the end of the film. There's just so much joy and silliness that goes on in this movie. Demi Moore is, there's not much to her character. There's really not much to Chevy Chase's character. He's just basically playing Chevy Chase in this movie. But it's okay because the movie's really not about them. It's about the weird, the giant dumpster babies, you know. Bobo and Little Devil, you know, and the judge and his penis nose, and the hot dog scene with the train, the condiment train, and I mean the fire pits and the conveyor belts and the bone strippers and the Daniel Baldwins and the fucking Digital Underground same song sequence with Tupac and I mean, come on. There's nothing like this movie. I did a DLJ Horror Shows, like a mashup video back in the day where I put together Killer Clowns from Outer Space, Gremlins 2, and Nothing But Trouble into the same video, kind of mashed them up into a video together. Because I think they kind of exude that same spirit and insanity and just inventiveness, and just they're colorful and over the top and just brilliant. I love stuff like that. So I'm trying to think if there's anything else I could say about this movie that I haven't already mentioned, but I'm obviously a big fan of this movie. Is it my favorite movie? No, it's not my favorite movie, but it's up there, man. It's up there. I tried to think about that the other day. I was thinking about this movie, and I was like, where is this? It's not top 10, but you know what? It might be top 30. And on a kooky day, it might even be top 20. Now, there's a lot of movies that have been made over time, and I've seen a lot of them. I watch a lot of movies. Some may say too many. Too many movies have warped my brain. But, yeah, so when I say top 30, that is a high. That's a high. That's a spice to meet the bud, you know? That's a high compliment. And I give this guy in the back that compliment. Okay, so I'm just gonna go out there and I'm gonna say it. So Nothing But Trouble. It is now, what is it? Now over 30 years old. This movie is finally ready to achieve that classic status. There we go. It's official. Nothing But Trouble is a classic.
Feeling good, feeling great. In fact, I've never been to a beautiful day. Such a change this past and weather.